So what if I told you there's an MMORPG out there that you've probably not even heard about? So this game offers a lot that you ever really want on an MMO: some action combat, insane fashion, player housing, an AI system, all coming out during launch. And this game is sort of Justice Online. Now a little bit of backstory with this. So this is basically a love child from the old Justice Online game that was announced back in like 2018. It was really revolutionary at the time, and it launched in China, but it never really made it to global at all. And they kind of reworked it a little bit to try and include it into mobile this time. People may hear mobile and be really turned off by that, but it's actually really well made. If you actually mess around with your UI a little bit, you can make it look very PC and not have to worry so much about the mobile aspect of it. Now, Sword of Justice is one of the most ambitious and underrated gems right now, so stick around because by the end of this video, I really think I'll make you as hype as I am for the release of this game. So Sword of Justice is an action combat MMORPG. It does have a little bit of a soft reset every year. So every year your gear is going to reset like a soft reset, and that will keep things very fresh and also kind of skew the focus onto skill-based system and reactive combat. Now the game has been out in China for around 2 years now. They are aiming for a global release on I think October 30th, 2025. It's not fully confirmed yet, but on the App Store, that is the date that is set there as the initial release date that is expected. Now, if I'm not wrong, and we are like really hoping this will happen, it should launch with the 3.0 update. So the update basically overhauls the graphics and adds new technology like ray tracing into the game to make the game look even more beautiful than it already is. So you're gonna start out with a very in-depth character creator, and your first big choice is gonna be one of the 6 classes that will be on launch. Now you do have your Nightwalker, that is a stealthy. He's gonna be playing like an assassin. You do have the Blaststorm. So the Blaststorm is basically a spear user, a lot of AoE and can fight on horseback. You do have the Sylph, so this is the only healer in the game. Also one of the only class, one of the 2 classes that is gender locked. And then you do have a Nomina, which is a summoner type class, a glass cannon mage called the Celestine, and the Ironclad, which is a tank, which is also the second class, which is gender locked. The other classes you can play with any gender you want, is only the tank and the healer, which are gender locked. However, this one will be only at launch. They are already planning to make them not gender locked in the near future. Now, to showcase the combat just a little bit, the combat is pure action. You have your aiming, you have your dodging, you have your breaking out of CC in real time. So it is very action combat-y. However, it is more of a hybrid with tab targeting, because there is an optional tab targeting mode for those who prefer it. The heart of the game is like a fluid impact action where you choose some classes has 2 skill stances. You can swap roles. For example, your healer can be a DPS as well by stance swapping, and the tank as well can be a DPS, especially for solo play. So you don't really have to rely on DPS to do your solo play and stuff. And then in addition to classes, you do have your sects. Your sects are basically like a second form of class, which are more like a faction-like group, which you join one of these sects, and these sects have their own story, have their own exclusive skills only for that sect. They have their own cosmetics, so you're gonna be learning crazier skills on this one. For example, you have your beggar sect over here. If there's those people who really like kung fu stuff, this is like your drunken master kind of a style. You do have other things like Skyrim sect, which focuses on Tai Chi style. So these skills you can earn with an ultimate and stuff, and you can incorporate them in your own class. It doesn't matter what class you play. You can be a healer but do Tai Chi. You can be a healer but do Drunken Master. You can do whatever you want. You're free to choose how this skill work. Now, another interesting thing about the skill system in this game is you're not really locked to your own class skills. For example, you can be a Numina, but you can learn skills from other classes. So they have a system called Secret Study where you can go to another school. For example, an Ironclad, which is the tank, can visit the Nightwaker school, which is the assassin, and kind of steal some of their skills and some of their traits and use them for your own character. So you do have that freedom of making some really insane, crazy builds that probably don't work, but you know what? You have the freedom to do whatever you want. But I have to mention that there is a little bit of a limitation. They don't let you copy all the skills. It is a small selection of around 4 skills you can copy. Some of them they don't want you to actually steal from the other class because they might be too OP once they are set in a tank. Because if a tank can ride a horseback, it's a little bit crazy. So some of those are locked to particular skills. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. So this is the monetization part of the game, which is usually the make it or break it for a lot of MMORPGs. Now this game does have some monetization aspects, and that's what we're going to be talking about right now. Now the first monetization the game has to offer is the normal battle pass, which is kind of standard for the entire gaming industry right now. So yes, we're not going to expect any game to launch without a battle pass these days. So you do have your normal battle pass here. Very fair battle pass. The paid version of it doesn't really give you that much of advantage, just some currency, extra currency, but it's actually pretty fair, to be honest. I didn't see anything crazy about the battle pass. And then you do have your monthly pass. This is where you get a couple of in-game premium currency every day for 30 days. It's around $5 for that purchase if you want to do that. And then let's go over to the cash shop, because this is what people really care so much about. And I have gone through the entire cash shop and I have not really found anything crazy in the cash shop. It is actually purely cosmetic. Now this might be just because it's CBT and they're trying to hide some of this from us, but there's absolutely nothing here that will give you any stats. All of the costumes do not give you stats. It is purely cosmetic. There is no advantage you get in the entire cash shop. Now some of the costumes can be super expensive. However, yeah, they do not really give they don't give any combat power or any combat stats at all. It is purely cosmetic, which I really like that. But you know what, they might do a bait and switch in the future, but so far it looks like the monetization is very fair. Now if you are gonna play the game free to play, you can have access to some of these costumes as well, because they are sellable in the costume in the market as well. So players can buy this and then sell them to you for in-game copper, which is the player trading currency. And on that point, let's talk about the gacha system in the game, and that is on the Heroes tab over here. So in Heroes, you do have multiple NPCs that you can gacha for. They are heroes, and they do come with a skill on that you can use on yourself here. Really good skill. However, keep in mind, you can only equip one of these skills, so you don't really need to get all of these gacha characters at all. Now you really just want to choose one that you really want, and that is the one you're going to be gachaing for. Now I've already played the game in beta for around 2 weeks, and they're actually very generous with the gacha pools. I already have multiple legendaries for free. You get a lot of hero invites, to be honest. Just by exploring, doing your travels, and you doing your achievements, you're gonna be getting a lot of this. Now for those who really want to max them out and make them 6-star, yeah, you're gonna have to pay a little bit to do the gacha and stuff. However, just getting one copy is really good, because that gives you access to the skill you're looking for. Now of course, when you get it to maximum, it is gonna be much stronger than just 1-star. But yeah, they are actually very generous with the hero invites. That's what they are called, the currency, the banner currency. It's called hero invites. There's multiple places to get this with weekly lockouts using in-game currency and stuff, but they are actually very generous with this currency. With that being said, let's take a quick look at how the gearing system will work. You're going to have your normal gear sets here, your chest piece and your staff, and your accessories, and then a weapon in the middle. It is your standard MMO gearing system where you'll have to improve your gear at certain intervals, but this is actually very easily done. The RNG is very minimal, and it actually starts at level 4, and it's very minimal. It's like almost an 80% chance to get it. So yeah, I guess right now it is very simple to get the maximum amount of enhancement you can do, and the enhancement that works in here is slot based, is not gear based, so you can freely change around the gears and you're going to lose any of this enhancement, and it kind of stops that thing where you have to redo enhancement every time you get a new weapon or things like that. So you are enhancing your slot. Any weapon you get is going to use the enhancement on that particular slot. You have your second thing here, and that is the gems. The gems as well, they do unlock by the server age. Like your server is locked by how long it has been active, but slowly by slowly you're going to be getting access to more of these slots. The big one is this, and this is the divine weapon. So this one is probably the best in slot weapon you can get. It is still locked in the server. The server needs to be a little bit older to get the access to this weapon, and you gotta get this weapon through the raid. And I do believe this is where some pay to win comes in, because some paying players can brute force their way into getting the items to craft this weapon, because it is super expensive. It's super expensive to do so with real money though, but there is a way on speeding up the access to this weapon. However, free-to-play players get access to it by doing their raids. Even though free-to-play players can get this one, it is a very low chance of getting it through the raid, but it is possible. It is possible. It's just that the pay-to-win players will get this one really quickly if they decide to pay. However, it is gonna be super expensive. But also keep in mind, this is a seasonal weapon, right? So maybe next year, October, it is not gonna be the same. They're gonna be a new one, and you won't be able to upgrade this one any further, so you're going to need to get the new one. So you have to decide whether it is worth it for you to pay the money to get this legendary weapon now, or just earn it like everyone else. So that will be up to you. I'm going to leave it as a decision for yourself. The next thing to increase your power will be the willpower system. So this is more like a gem kind of system where you're going to be mix and match in some of these to unlock the bonuses on your elements. I will have a video about this one in depth, but yeah, it is a really cool system. A little bit annoying and it's a little bit grindy, but yeah, it is actually well made, and I kind of like how they did it with this one. It is a little grindy to get the best in slot stuff, but it's not that hard to activate whatever set effects you are looking for. Now the world is vast and it is super gorgeous. The exploration is super rewarded in this game, and traveling isn't really such a chore, to be honest. You do have your mounts, you do have your auto path if you want to. Some classes like the healer can use their kite to fly across the map, but everyone can do the flying on their own in terms of the kung fu stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of exploration you can do in the world map. This is just one of the zones. There is multiple zones that you can travel to. Really some of these zones are extremely huge. The top ones over here are a little bit of trouble because this is a PvP zone, so you gotta be careful about going there. But yeah, you are super rewarded for doing exploration. There's a lot of rewards here. You do have costumes, you can get like super good gear, you can get your hero invites for your banners, you can get skills, you can even get ultimate skills just by traveling around. You do not have to gacha for those. Some of these you can actually earn them in the game by just doing some exploration and doing some travel things that sends your character kind of roaming the world and finding out secrets, and those secrets will reward you with some of these things. And then you do have access to your normal dungeons and raids. So you have multiple dungeons here which are on a daily lockout. So it's like your normal daily dungeons. These daily dungeons will be rewarding you with currency and gear. And then you have a second dungeon which acts like a roguelike game mode, that is the Dreamblade Abyss, also rewarding you with really cool gear and stuff, and also a super great crazy outfit over here. This outfit looks extremely good. And then you do have your raids. So your raids are like the end game, super hard raids, but this will be giving you the best in slot gear in the game. And eventually when the server gets even more old at level 69 and stuff, you're going to unlock the hard mode, which should give you even better gear, and that is the normal progression that you're going to be getting at launch. So your dungeons are going to be your normal 6-man ones, and then your raids are going to be 12-man raids, so keep that in mind. So if you are a person who likes raiding, the raids in this game are actually really well made, and they look really cool with really nice mechanics to do. Now guilds are a huge deal in this game. They are capped at 80 members, and this is one of the best competitive modes you can have. So there is 60 versus 60 guild versus guild modes. So yeah, you do have your declaration mode here. You can fight with other guilds over in the open world freely. So there is that. You do have multiple guild events here. You can help the guild's chef cook and stuff, find him supplies. You have your Rambler here. You have your undercover, which works like the game Mafia, where you have to find who is the undercover in the middle of like some civilians and stuff. Really cool mini game to play with your friends and stuff. You have your guilding here, which is a PvP. Heroic rescue is such a crazy thing. This is where one of your members is gonna be kidnapped by a boss, and then you have to go fight the boss and actually save them. Really funny thing, really cool thing to do as a guild. So there's a lot of social aspects to this game, and I really like that about this game. Now, in addition to the guild system, there's a small system called the Kinship, which is a little bit more smaller. It's up to 12 players, but they all have to be in the same faction. For example, you are beggar sect, right? So if you're all beggars with your friends, you can make this Kinship and kind of make a small gang for yourself. You can be as little as 3 players. So if you're just 3 friends and you're all joined the same faction, you can do a Kinship. And yeah, you can travel the martial world together, doing all sorts of crime if you want to. Okay, now let's talk about the daily chore, right? So you do have your dailies that you can do, which will give you a massive amount of experience. But these dailies are super easy to do. You can just take a photo, you can just do some traveling. This will take you around 2 minutes or 1 minute to do all your dailies, and you can log off if you want to. The game does not force you to do content you don't want to do. For example, if you're a PvP person, you don't want to do any PvE and stuff, you can choose to do your PvP. So they will all be counted towards the daily, and the reward at the end is the same for everyone. So you just choose what you want to do. If you want to do PvE dungeon, do that. If you want to go do your life skills, the rewards will be the same for everyone. You just choose what you personally want to do that day. Now, a second thing here when it comes to the social aspect in the game is there is a marriage system in the game. You can find someone, if you have a friend, if you have a girlfriend, if you have a wife, you can get married in the game and actually do a whole big ceremony. For people who are single, you can just, you can stay alone and stick with your friends in a kinship, and you can try and murder people's husbands and people's wives, and then they're probably gonna come for you. But yeah, there is a marriage system in the game for those who have their better halves playing with them, and you can have some fun with that. And to all the life skillers out there, don't worry, you have a lot of life skills to do. You can be a gatherer, you can be a miner, you can do fishing, you can do forging, you can do crafting, you can do cooking, you can do herbalist, you can be a musician, you can be a dancer, you can be an FBI agent if you want, you can be an explorer and things like that. There's a lot of identity to do. For example, for me, I do like the secret the case solving one, because this is where you become an agent, where you can actually punish other players who have done some despicable things in the world. I did try once and then I got wrecked, so make sure you are actually strong enough to do this. But yeah, there's actually a role very in-depth when it comes to the life skills. You can do a lot of things with this, so keep that in mind. It's actually a really good system. And we are not done. There is a housing system in the game, and that is the mana system. You can have access to your whole entire estate, and you can build it the way you want to. For those who don't know how to build stuff, for example, for me, I'm not an architect and I just put things the way I want to. You can use blueprints that will set up your entire estate the way you want it to, and it's gonna cost you a couple of in-game currency, because the jade with the icon is something you can earn in-game, and it's actually pretty generous. You get a lot of these. So yeah, you can just quickly come here, choose a blueprint of how you like. You can visit it to see how it works, and yeah, you're gonna have your whole estate. It's actually a really huge area you can build in. Inside the mana as well, you can do some farming, plant your crops, your mushrooms, your cabbages, your stuff. You can also put some livestock in, so your sheep and your cows, and you can manage them for those who want to do some farmville in the game. And no, this is not the window you're going to be doing this on. You can actually visit the mana yourself and see how the mana looks like. So yeah, you do have your farms here, and you can come here and you can do so much farm build stuff. You do have your pumpkins here with really good detail. You do have access to your seeds. You can choose whatever seeds you want to plant here, and they do go by seasonal, so sometimes some seeds are better than others. You have your cucumber here. You can purchase the cucumbers, and then you can plant your cucumbers how you want them to do. and they are going to take a while to grow. If you can use fertilizers and stuff, eventually you can increase because you have like multiple plots you can unlock here, and even goes much bigger up to here. And then you can use this is to water your plants if you want to, and then eventually you can unlock other areas there with the livestock and stuff. So it is very in-depth stuff for those people who like to do all of these farming things in their own estates. You have this for you. Now, the last thing I'm going to be talking about is the AI system in the game. So there is an AI system in the game where you can do so many crazy things. I'm just going to do a small showcase right now for really quickly. So for example, there is a film crew system where you can upload something, for example, a dance. I believe I can't show so much of this because of copyright issues, but for example, let me show you quickly this. So this is like a dance style in my country, really crazy styles. So I can copy some of this, I can upload it in the game, and then I can make this on the character itself. So for example, that I can make that into an action after I upload that video, and then I can quickly generate that. Once it's done generating this, it actually copies whatever was in that video, and you can copy that. So you can see the amount of potential, how many people are going to be making some crazy stuff with this. You can also do this with your friends and make like a small dance group if you want to. So yeah, there is that. I just wanted to quickly showcase that. There's a lot of AI in this game that is being leveraged. It's actually super insane. Another cool thing about the AI system in the game is on the tides. So this is where you can make friends with NPCs and stuff. And the last one here that is super cool is the community system. So these AIs here will be helping you out in dungeons and raids if you don't want to play with other players. And you can actually go and recruit them out in the open world. So some of these are really good. For example, I really like Virgil. He's like a tank, and he does really well. I've been playing around with him so many times. So you can like just go looking for most of these. You're going to be finding them just by exploration. That is a massive amount of exploration to do in this game. Like you won't get through all of these quests. It's for those people who like exploring, this is the perfect game for you, because you're going to be sent all over the game world to find these NPCs, make friends with them. Some will hate you, some will like you. It is AI after all. So yeah, if there's someone out there who was looking for a game and didn't know any game to play, so sort of Justice Online, if you do like this Wuxia themed MMOs, this is probably the best one in the market so far until maybe Where Winds Meet releases. So it is a something to play on the side if you really enjoy the martial arts kind of game. This is the best one for you. It also kind of has everything for everyone, for the PvPers, the min-maxer. There's a lot of min-maxing actually in this game. If you are a fashion person, there is a lot of fashion to go through. If you like doing mana, housing, decorations and stuff, you have access to a lot of that. If you like solo playing, there's a lot of that. You can even be a solo criminal if you want to. It is an epic RPG all wrapped into one stunning package. With that being said, the monetization, yeah, there's a little bit of concern there, but the seasonal resets kind of softens the blow a little bit for that, and also because free-to-play players can still get the costumes through the market as well. So with a global release on the horizon, basically like a month or so, I believe it has the potential to be such a nice hidden gem. And if they continue in the same trajectory, if they do not add weird things in the cash shop, I do believe this game will do really good. It is ambitious, it is beautiful, and it kind of deserves your attention, to be honest. So that's it for this video. So what part of Sword Justice excites you the most? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more looks at underrated games like this. It looks like I am playing games that not so many people are playing. However, I'll be covering things like the Blue Protocol that is coming up this week, so stay tuned for that. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.